So as we jump back into the Chopping It Up podcast, you've been leaving us with some hell of a gems. As we close out talking about the healthcare, are there any gems for people that are suffering from ailments like blood pressure, kidney, diabetes? Any message for them that you just like to say one time?
Um, yes, I would say, um, if you can see it in your mind, you can see it in the physical. So just start believing that you feel better, and make sure that you're eating right. That's literally all I could say, because anything else would just be prayer and hopes that you're okay and hopes that you make it and hopes. But I would say start now.
And yeah, there you go. Starting out. That's a good actually push and good transition into the next phase of our conversation and talking about your credit repair business. And real quick, tell me how you got into that.
How did I get into that? I got into credit like 5 years ago. I read a book called Credit Repair Loophole. And at the time, I think I was just studying like law, like UCC codes and stuff like that. And I just came across credit, like start studying it. I guess I don't know.
What was the first test case? What was the first case where, what was the first win for you?
Um, the first win was myself.
Okay.
I started working on my own credit, build my credit up to the 760s, 780s. And I'm like, okay. So I was telling my friends and my family, and I started fixing their credit. I started doing their credit. And that's how I started credit.
How important is credit as it relates to our health?
I have a different outlook. That's probably why I'm so vague with my responses now. But it's cool for somebody to keep doing things for you. And like I said, I've been doing it for 5 years, fixing other people's credit, cleaning up other people's mess. But I feel like people should learn to do it themselves. I feel like the world will be a much better place if everybody did it themselves. This is something that you need to know. This financial literacy that should have been taught to us. And it's like when they taught us our needs and our wants, this is a need. This is a necessity that you need, that you should not have to pay anyone to do. This should be done in your home, at your table, with your loved ones.
So a person sitting with maybe a 500, 600 credit score, what should they be doing today at the beginning of the year to get started?
A 500 credit score means that they have a little credit established but don't know what they're doing. So I would possibly say the first thing that they would need to do is, of course, get a copy of your credit report, but make sure your credit profile is accurate, because that's what makes credit first. That's what makes it your credit. Make sure your profile is accurate. And if your profile is not up to par to your liking, make it to your liking. And then go add, the credit cards, the loans, and whatever else to make sure your credit keeps thriving.
So how does the consumer law portion, how does that aspect play a key part in your business?
Well, I really don't use consumer law. When I first started repairing credit, I did quote the codes, but it's like you gotta have an overstanding of the codes. It's certain things that you do in the credit. Like, first things first is you have to take administrative remedies, which is in writing. Everything must be in writing. Verbal, or you can do it verbally, but most part is writing. So you don't have to quote laws. You don't even have to know the consumer laws to get your credit right. That's why I just gave you a key point with your credit profile. My name is Brianna Carter, but Experian and Equifax has me as Brianna L. Carter. They got this phone number, it's not mine. They have this email, it's not mine. They got this job, it's not mine. None of that is accurate. So that is an incomplete, inaccurate profile. That is what I just said is consumer law without being able to quote the codes. You see? So that's just like when they taught us in school to read the definitions, make sure that this is your homework with your name on it. That's really what this is, making sure your profile, you can't do nothing without the right profile.
Okay, and since you get we dropping gems, well, let's help another type of person, a listener that's helping. You just opened a credit union account, just got a credit card for like $1,000 limit on it. What should that person be doing with that? With that, what should be their next steps on
With the credit
making
card?
sure they maintain their credit and keep and try to their credit score?
The first thing I would say was just read up on how to use a credit card properly. I could give a couple jewels on how to use a credit card properly. So I'm trying to give a good analogy on how I would use a credit card with money. So let's say I have $1,000 to my name, and I have a credit card with $300 already on this credit card. I spend all the $300, right? And now I spend $300 as soon as I get the credit card, max it out. But I have $1,000 in cash. My due date is on the 15th, and my statement date is on the 21st. I need to know the definition of a statement date and a due date, because that's when my score is going to go up on those dates. So, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay back the $300. Now, how am I gonna pay back the $300? I'm gonna pay back the $300 maybe 3 times, 100, 100, 100, so it can see 3 payments. So it can see as if I paid it 3 months straight, but it's 3 payments, right? So now the credit card is paid. But most people think, okay, I paid the credit card, now I gotta wait a whole month to use it again. The key is keep paying that credit card over and over all month. Never use cash, because you're not getting any credit for cash. So once you pay that credit card, so I done paid the credit card maybe 6 times before the statement date. But on the statement date, right before that 3rd or 6th time that I pay, I'm gonna pay 100, and then I'm gonna probably pay 80. Or no, I'm gonna pay 90. You're gonna pay 90. You're gonna leave 10%. Because the credit card companies, they do not want to see a zero balance. They want to see you using credit responsibly. So leaving $10 balance on the card is under 3%. You know, so you playing it very smart, very safe. So now they're gonna start giving you more credit. So now it's all about leveraging credit. That's what credit is about, leverage.
Wow, that's some real gems, man, that y'all getting only on Chop It Up podcast, kicking it. So what's the next thing for you? What's the next step for Breon? What you doing?
Well, they say a wise person knows not to tell them what they're planning.
Okay.
But just know I got a lot in the works, a lot. And it's just next level. You know, I'm coming full throttle on everything. And I'm making sure that my foundation is strong.
And
That's first.
And I see your socials been going crazy. You want to share your socials with our listeners so they can, and our viewers, so they can check you out and follow you on social media as well.
My Facebook is my name, Brianna Myra Carter, and my Instagram is Highly Prolific. That's my clothing line.
So we coming with the Highly Prolific skits, the clothing. We got a lot more coming, man. Definitely want to thank you for coming out, sharing. Again, it's real stories, real people in real situations. Y'all got some dope ass gems right here. We just kicked it for a few seconds, for a few minutes. You know, y'all gonna learn a lot more, and look forward to seeing Bree on more of the shows and more of the content that we drop here on the Chop It Up podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in and checking us out. And big shout out this was powered, you know what I'm saying, by Sandria Slay, you know what I'm saying, for getting us in the studio today, helping us out. Y'all see this lovely background that we shooting ours in the day. So again, this podcast today was powered by BAM. You know what I'm saying? That's my niece, that's my baby looking out. So we got it, y'all see it, y'all see the light, y'all see the whole hookup. Shout out to Getting It Done and Cuz here helping us out, man. So again, make sure y'all check us out. It's on YouTube, and y'all see a few clips on social media. We out.